Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 256. It is a very cold Wednesday morning. I've already gone to work this morning, woke up, looked out the window. There's snow outside. Not a very fun time. Car covered with snow, cold. Got myself ready. I was working on another type of advantage play this morning before I left home, and continued on that as I was driving to work. Finally finished up in the parking lot of the office. I went in and saw some emails that prompted me to have to do a ton of work today for the director, and so I've got to get that stuff done first before anything else. Also on call this week, so all this extra work, and then I've got a bunch of meetings this afternoon. Then I have to pick up one of my kids by the end of the day. So with all that being said, this morning I worked on all this stuff for the director. I got about 2/3 of it done already, and hopefully by the time I get back to the office I can spend another hour or two on it and finish that stuff up, and I'll be caught up on that. And then I'll have to wait for replies from about 16 teams as to all the information I just sent them out today. And then I'll have to compile that information, put it in spreadsheets, put it in emails, and send it out to all the interested parties. So that's what I'm working on today. How about you? So I just got to a point where I'm getting cross-eyed here, copying, pasting, moving, creating change tickets, sending emails, keeping track of spreadsheets, incomplete ones, complete ones, uploading them to secure websites, all these different things. So I needed a break. I'm leaving the office for now. I'm heading out to the casino, try to make a little bit of money. It looks like today might be kind of a bust of a day. We'll see what happens. I may have to go somewhere tonight because I'm not going to make any money right now. So the plan is to go to this casino now, come back to the office, eat my lunch on my way back to the office, finish working on this stuff, take care of 2 meetings, pick up my kid, take them home, and then have dinner, and then probably head out for the night and be out all night. In fact, now that I say that, if I'm going to do that, I might as well be out and just stay overnight, just not be home, and come back tomorrow, which is Thursday. That way I'll get a full day in today. I'll have like 5 or 6 hours after work, and then I'll have a full day tomorrow and just have to worry about meetings, which I have a bunch of meetings tomorrow, and then come home tomorrow night and go back out Friday. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Depending on the weather and what we have going on at home, I'll probably do that. I am worried about these wheel hubs that seem to be having a problem, making a lot of noise. I don't know how dangerous that is, what that even means, but I gotta drive. So right now we're heading out to that casino, and I'll be back to update you soon. Okay, I am back. Okay, so I go into this place, start looking around. I see a play right away. It's like $1 something a spin. I sit down, I spin that, end up ahead. Oh man, what did I leave with on that one? I think I was ahead like $15 or $20. Continue on, I swing by the high limit room. I see one play there, $5 a spin. Spin that and end up winning, I don't know, approximately $100 or something. I don't know why it's not registering right now what happened exactly, but I think it was about $100 that I won. Actually, it was $95, I'm remembering now. So, looking around, nothing for a while. Then I see this set of 3 machines next to each other. I sit down, I check, I find 2 plays on a single machine, one at less than $1 and one at about $10. So big difference, right? So I spin the one for less than $1. I end up winning $16, which is great. Then I'm like looking at the other one. I'm like, I know this one is not going to be easy, but you know what? I need the points. Let's give it a shot here. At that point, I had bought in for a total of $40 in all the machines, and I was up to like almost $200, 170 or something like that. So I sit down, I start playing. I get down to my last. Let me see. I'm zooming in on the picture here. My last $14, and it hits for $651. So with that I think that ended up being my last play. It was good, but when you play those volatile machines like that, you're going to win big or you're going to lose big, and you can't be upset because when you look at the number of units, it's not that many units, right? So if I'm playing $10 a spin, I lose $100. That's like playing 50 cents and losing $5. It's the same increment, right? 10 times the bet. So just gotta make sure that your budget is right, that you have enough money to play. So then they had a giveaway. I go and pick that up. It's okay. It's an okay gift. You can't get cash, so I got the gift. And then I did talk to a guy who used to be my host. Talked to him for about 5 minutes, and he informed me that they're having some kind of a point multiplier, and he told me all the dates, and I will not be around on any of those dates. And I think it's a 5 times point multiplier. I need that so badly right now, but I'm not going to be around. But the places that I'm going do have this type of property. I don't know if they'll have it on those dates or not. I will have to go online and check to see what's going on in those different areas that I'm going to be on those dates. There's always a possibility of coming in late evening and trying to do that stuff. I try not to make special trips like that just for points, because I have my sleep pattern, I have my timing that I do everything, and if I screw all that up, I'm tired, I'm not paying attention or whatever, then that could cost me money. So anyway, I ended up leaving that casino ahead, $627. So very nice day there. And I am heading back toward work. I did place an order at one of my favorite places, Chipotle. And I got a chicken bowl with extra pretty much everything except for the meat. And like I've said before, you can do this without having to pay extra for it, so it's definitely worth it. And I'm picking that up and then heading back to the office. I will need fuel if I go anywhere. Well, I'll need fuel before I go home, so I'll have to do that. I'm hoping to get back here tonight, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. So this may be all I do right now, unless I do go on that overnight trip tonight. So hang in there, and you'll find out what happens. So that's what's going on right now. So far, so good, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I want to talk about a few things here. I got an email, and I want to answer some questions in the email. Let's see. It says that I mentioned my W-2 wins above a certain amount, which is $1,200 on a slot machine, or 300 times the bet on a table game, meaning it doesn't matter how much you win per hand if you're winning 1-1 or 3-2. What matters is if you have one win over 300x, so a side bet that pays 500-1 or something like that, then you would have a W-2, or 1,200 on a slot machine. He says, how do you account for your losses during the tax season? So the IRS wants you to keep track of every session that you gamble. And I would say, if I had to go out on a limb, 100% of people keep track of their gambling stuff in a way that if you go literally by the law, everyone is breaking the law. However, there's an accepted rule, and that's what I'm going to talk about here. So by the law, from what I understand, you're supposed to keep track of every little win. I guess I had heard it maybe on Gambling with an Edge years ago, that any win over $50 needs to be accounted for. But that's not the way that people do it. The way that people do it and the way that I do it is I keep track of every session. You can keep track of every day if you want. I prefer to be as detailed as possible because I like to keep my statistics and I like to know what's going on and see what places I'm making money, which places I'm losing money, and just get a rough idea or as detailed an idea as possible about everywhere I go and everything I do. So I have a spreadsheet. I've had it since day one. I started on a notebook and then eventually copied it into a spreadsheet. And basically it has the date. It has the day of the year, which is calculated by the date. It has my session of blackjack, like I number each session. I think I'm at session like 490 for the year this year. And then the amount of money that I won or lost at blackjack, the amount of money I won or lost at slots, at sports betting, at poker, the amount I won or made actually on credit cards, and then I have a couple new fields that we haven't discussed on here. So it's the date, the day of the year, the session of blackjack, how much I won or lost at each thing, and then I have how many minutes I spent on the blackjack table, my EV, and then of course the AV is there already, and then I have all kinds of other things like my low for the session, my high for the session, my minimum bet, my maximum bet, and if I'm spreading, let's say 50 to 500, if I only get to 50 to 200, I put in the 50 to 200 because I never got to the 500. I put all that in a chart and more, so probably 10 more fields that I'm not talking about on here right now, and a bunch of calculations which include average session win, what percentage of the way I am to my goal based on the year, what percentage I am on the way to 125% of my goal, the dealer that dealt to me, the location that I went to, and even, in fact, last year was even more detailed. I had the number of miles from one location to the other, so when I'd leave one casino, go to the other, I had it automatically calculating how many miles it was to that casino. So just to give you an idea, be as detailed as you can, and that's what the IRS wants. What they don't want is a printout from the casino, and I hear a lot of people saying, well, I just give my accountant the paper from the casino and that's it. Well, that's fine, and the accountant's going to put that in as your opinion, not the casino's opinion, but if you were to get audited, you're supposed to have details. So that's how I account for everything. Very detailed, probably 30 plus columns on the spreadsheet. I'd have to look to tell you for sure over 30. And then I have charts at the bottom based on where I want to be for the year, where I am for the year, how much was blackjack, how much was slots, and so on. And another chart, how far ahead or behind, where I want to be for the year, all those different things. And then a monthly chart breaking it down by what I'm playing and how I did, and then adding it up for the year. So I know that sounds like a lot, and it is. But for each session, probably takes me 30 seconds to enter it in. It's pretty automatic now. I've been keeping it for all these years. So, and then another question is there anything an advantage player should be careful of during banking, regarding banking? So, and then he says, I am guessing there must be limits on how much you can drop off at the bank without getting issues. And that's actually kind of misleading, because a lot of people will say, okay, I need to drop off $20,000 at the bank, so I'm going to drop off $5,000 a day. And no, that's not the way to do it. That's the way to get yourself in trouble. If you have a large amount to drop off, drop it off. If they ask you to fill out a CTR, fill it out. If they don't, they may just fill it out themselves based on what they know about you. I've been through it with the bank before, where they have asked me and they haven't asked me. Basically, when they do ask you, they ask you questions like, what kind of job do you have? what field is it in, things like that, and you just explain, hey, this was my paycheck. Hey, this was a slot win. If you want to stay under the radar and you don't need the cash right away and you're going to deposit it right away, you can ask the casino for a check, and they'll be happy to give you a check. You can deposit that in the bank. It might make things go a little bit more smoothly. Personally, I deposit money in the bank, but not a ton. I prefer to have cash in my pocket, and I use cash whenever I can. I don't like being tracked as to what store I go to and what I buy and things like that. So I just think about the way that our elections have been going the last 20 or 30 years, and the direction that the country has been moving in the last 20 or 30 years. And what I see is that people get canceled all the time, and people have problems all the time for doing things that were not bad, let's say, when they did them. For example, and I'm not starting any kind of politics here, using the word queer. There was a football player that used the word queer like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when we used it by the definition in the dictionary, which is something that is strange or odd or different. And he got canceled. And maybe he was misusing it a little bit, but people went overboard. I see places like China where if you're jaywalking, they have facial recognition, they send you a ticket, your social credit score takes a dip, and they notify your neighbors that you did something wrong and that you're not loyal to the country, you're not following the rules of the country. And I can just see in the future where they say, oh, you buy something from whatever Old Navy, oh, we just found out that Old Navy's owners or CEO is this type of person and doesn't like this type of person, and so if you shop there, then you're like them. And so I just try to avoid that kind of stuff as much as possible. These days I use my credit cards to get points, mainly. I buy gift cards with them. I spend them, use the credit cards on large purchases the way they were meant to be used initially. But I use cash for a lot of everyday things, going to restaurants, going shopping, going to the grocery store, things like that. And then I will still deposit in the bank. But whatever I have to deposit, I just deposit it. I don't worry about the size of it. And normally, I'm not depositing tens of thousands anyway. I'm depositing $3,000 or $4,000 here and there. But I'm not structuring it in any way. And that's one thing to make sure you understand is if you purposefully deposit money in a way to avoid detection, that is structuring, and it's a crime. To an extent, with the bank, let's say. If you're cashing out in parts at a casino so that your name is not disclosed, that's a little bit different, and you have the right to that, but really, it's still not the greatest thing because you really should still do some kind of a CTR. You can self-report if you want, but nobody really does that. But just try not to get yourself in a situation where you're breaking the law for no reason. Card counting is not illegal. Playing slots is not illegal. If you make money, claim it, pay taxes on it, and move on. The little bit that you're going to pay in taxes, even if it seems like a lot at the time, is a whole lot better than getting in trouble. So we'll say that. I think here. Really, that's it. A lot of people now are using digital currency, and they think that that's a way to get around stuff too. But as you know, the IRS has said probably 3 years ago, that you're supposed to track that as well, your buy-ins and your cash outs, your spending. And technically, it's going to be super complicated. I don't see how they can enforce it. Just be careful. But technically, if I buy $100 worth of Bitcoin from you, and I spend it at some place, and the value has gone up to 110 when I spent it, I'm supposed to account for that. But I don't know How detailed do you have to be with that? I haven't done much with digital currency, so really that's the whole thing here. It's not about how to get around the law and not get detected. It's about doing things right so you don't have a problem later on, knowing the laws, and it's okay to do certain things, but not in a way to try to skirt the law. But I mean, in other words, I'm allowed to plan ahead for my taxes and do things a certain way to save money, but it's not okay after the fact to go back and lie about it or to do something underhanded. So, all right, guys. Right now, I gotta be honest with you. I am very tired, and I don't know if I'm sick or not, but I haven't felt great for a couple weeks. I've been tired for a couple weeks, and I really don't think I'm going to be able to get out to play anymore tonight. So I think I'm going to go home, try to get some rest, and be fresh for the morning. The other problem is the weather outside is getting very bad. It's snowing. It's incredibly windy. Like, I'm talking 40-mile-an-hour winds plus. It's very cold, and I really don't want to go to a casino right now and sleep in the parking lot after driving for 4 hours. So I'm going to go home, get some rest, and then wake up early in the morning and get out and start my play at that point. So I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.